Welcome back to The Elusive Truth. Today what we're going to be talking about is D'Elia and his recent apology on his YouTube channel about the sexual allegations that took place within this past year. We're going to be breaking down why Chris fell into some of these traps. We're going to be breaking down his apology. We're going to be getting into how to prevent yourself as a man or just person watching this channel, prevent yourself from falling into addictions and using things as a means to fill a void and emptiness, particularly as a man, thinking that when you get the woman you want, when you have the amount of sex or the amount of girls that you want, when you have your dream girl, that you're going to be happy and it's going to fulfill some sort of need or void in you, or using women as a means of validation and not dealing with deeper issues that are going on inside of you. We're going to be getting into all of that. So let's go ahead and break down his apology.
Hi, everyone. I know that it's been a really long time since you've heard from me. And when the news broke, I put out a statement that said everything I've done has been legal and consensual, and that's true. And I wanted that statement to speak for itself.
So I guess I'll kind of give it a little preface. He was accused of potentially soliciting nudes from minors and potentially exchanging nudes with minors. Now obviously he's saying here that that is not true. Whether it is or isn't, that's not really the main focus of this video. Obviously, if he was doing that, that's terrible. But that's not really the main focus of this video. Right here, he is saying that that was not true. So we'll just take his word for that and we'll get to kind of the meat of the video. Now, this next clip I'm going to play here is going to be probably about 2 minutes, and then the one after that will be another 2 minutes, and then I will go ahead and break it down and give my feedback on it. Just bear with me here.
I threw this kind of time away. I've seeked out a lot of kind of, medical advice, therapy, and stuff like that. That doesn't matter here nor there. But what I have come to understand is this was always about sex to me. My life was, sex, it controlled my life. It was the focus. It was my focus all the time. And I had a problem. And I do have a problem. It's not like you months down the line, you just kind of, everything's better. I need to do work on that. When I first started doing stand-up and I started getting a little bit of notoriety in my early 30s, having sex got a lot easier is for the lack of better words. And I felt lucky. I felt like, oh, wow, I don't need to work as hard, I can just do a show and then have sex, or roll into a city and look at my inbox and then just start writing. And I did, man. I wrote, I know you've seen some of the messages online. There's way more than that. I would get at least 50 messages after a show each city a night, and I would reply to all of them. And I thought in my mind that being straight up with these women was the right thing to do. I'd say, hey, come to my hotel room and let's have sex. Let's make out. Let's do this. Let's do that. And that was what I thought was right. I realized through all of this that doing that is just treating sex like it's casual and being flippant with people. And that's not the guy I want to be. It's not okay, and I'm sorry for that. It makes me feel shameful, and it makes me feel bad.
So it's interesting here. I think he's just kind of self-reflecting. Obviously, he does appear very nervous. He appears very like he's just searching for words. Like he's not even really sure what to say. He's probably really shook up by the whole thing. And part of him maybe feels like he doesn't really need to apologize, and maybe he has to do this. I can definitely see an incongruence in his body language. And he just looks like he kind of doesn't really want to be doing this. But it's interesting what he's saying. He's apologizing for essentially having a lot of one-night stands, being very sex-driven, and essentially, using his leverage, his power as a comedian, as a very popular, funny comedian, to sleep with women. Now, I got to be honest with you, I don't think there's anything inherently wrong with that, unless he's doing things that are like, telling girls like, I want to take you on a date, and then he's like, just being very forceful, trying to get them to have sex, or doing things that involve trickery or things like that. If he's just being straight up with his intentions, I don't really see a problem with that, to be honest with you. I think this almost might be him kind of feeling shamed by Hollywood and, the whole industry. But I don't really see a problem with that. What I do see a problem with, though, which is what he's getting into, is using sex and letting it consume you and using it as a means of kind of validation. There is a problem with that, and I'm happy he's recognizing that. And it's not just sex. Anytime you want to fill a void, you could be sweets, it could be drugs, it could be your phone, it could be Instagram, it could be a sex addiction, it could be, it could be a number of things. So let's see what he says here next.
But what I can say is the familiarity. I would use the familiarity that I had with these women to have sex. I was like, oh, they already use me. They already know me. I didn't have to do the extra work. And I was talking to one of my friends about this and about the power dynamic and about the familiarity and not having to use that. And I said, why is that behavior not okay? Why is it not okay to sleep with somebody if it's consensual and they want to sleep with you? And he said, it's okay. Well, it is okay. It's okay until it's not. And that was when, a lot of it clicked for me. It was something that just became life controlling. I mean, I would think about it all the time. I would go and I would do my show, and like I just said earlier, and it was too much, and it became a lifestyle that I didn't know how to stop. I didn't even think I had a problem. I thought that this was how it was. I thought that guys in my position were lucky enough and fortunate enough, and it was going out of control. And I never stopped it. I cheated on most of the girls that I've been with. I cheated on my fiance now. And this is my dream girl. This is the girl that I want to be with for the rest of my life. And even that wouldn't stop what I was doing. And I was headed for you know what I was headed for? I was headed for this. And this needed to happen because I wouldn't have stopped cheating. I wouldn't have stopped using sex. I wouldn't have stopped.
Now, what he's referring to here by familiarity, he's actually referring to a concept called social proof, which is where you are someone who is either known for being good at something, known for being cool, known for being popular, and you have other people, males and females, who follow you, who look up to you, who want to be around you. Especially for females, when they see a male with other females that are attractive, or a guy who has attractive females that are into him or talking about him or constantly around him, it turns on a biological attractive switch in them, and they will be attracted and want to have sex with that guy as well. So that's what he's talking about here. And I agree with what his friend says as far as, it's okay until it's not. And he's not really explaining it super well, because I think he's kind of also just figuring this out for himself. But what his friend means is basically, it's okay until it becomes self-destructive. It's okay until it starts to hurt people. It's okay until you're actually using it for destructive purposes. It's okay until you start cheating on your loved ones. It's okay until you start prioritizing it over other things that are more important in life. That's what his friend is basically saying here. And the interesting thing here is, whether he realizes it or not, he was using sex to fill a void, to fill some sort of emptiness inside of him that was either created as a child. Maybe his father didn't give him attention. Maybe his mother didn't give him attention. Maybe he was bullied. Whatever it is, he's using the sex with random girls to fill some sort of void, to gain some sort of emotion, pleasure, or validation from it, to make himself feel better, and to almost kind of use it as a form of medication. That's what he's not saying here. And it may be because he doesn't even realize it yet, or because he doesn't want to admit what that is, but that's what he's not saying here. And the truth is, that's something that we all deal with, like I said before, whether it's sweets, whether it's, you feeling like you need to make a lot of money, whether it's feeling like you need to have cool clothes, whether it's, having an addiction to, your phone or Netflix or Instagram or people's validation, whatever it is. Those are all being used to fill some sort of emptiness or some sort of lack that you feel inside of you. And that's what Chris is dealing with here, whether he realizes it or not.
I can't go back, and I can't fix that part of me, that hole in me that was trying to be filled with that, the loneliness on the road, or the fear that I felt, or the insecurity that I would try to chase and just conquer with sex. And it was out of control. So I have a chance here to apologize to the people who got caught up in that shit. And, the lies that I would tell my fiance, my friends, and I'm sorry.
So the final thing I want to leave you guys with is that if there is some sort of deep internal trauma or problem or dilemma or confusion about something, it's very important that you do the work. You do the self-development work that is necessary. Read some books, do some meditation, talk to a therapist if you need to, talk to friends. Really dig inside yourself and try and figure out where this lack or void or need for something is coming from, because all addiction, whether it's sex, drugs, alcohol, doesn't matter. It's all coming from a need to fulfill an emptiness inside of you, right? And that emptiness was created by something, so it's up to you to decipher what that is. And I hope you've enjoyed this video for today. This is The Elusive Truth, and until next time.